Hi, Rick. How are you? I'm glad you called in.
I'm good, Madison. Hey, so you were just mentioning, are they going to have to come clean with the program soon? And I think they're going to absolutely have to. I live in Los Angeles. More and more people are becoming aware in Los Angeles and kind of all over California. We're not talking like a few people. We're talking thousands and thousands of people. And the more people that become aware, they're going to have to let the people know what's going on. I mean, it's just an absurd joke here. And I'm sorry my voice is a little hoarse, but it could be from the heavy chemtrailing that they've been doing. Today was the first sunny day I've seen in a while. I didn't see a plane.
You said they've ramped it up there.
Day before yesterday, the day before that, it was like I'd never seen before. It's like the world was coming to an end, and they had to block the sun out.
Right.
You know, we're talking 500 crosses across Los Angeles all day long. And what's really weird is why would you bother doing it at night? What's the purpose of spraying at night? To block out the moon's rays?
Do you think it's but do you think the main reason is for depopulation?
I would hate to think that it is for depopulation, but a part of me says that there could be, bad intent, or it could be, who knows what is in the deep, dark, secret vaults of our government.
Right.
Maybe we have aliens that have said, look, you fools, you fucked your planet up so bad, you've got to do this, and we're going to show you how to do it to try and repair the damage. And I truly think that we have a problem with the ozone layer. I think that if you walk out in the sun when it's a blue sky and there's no chemtrails and no clouds and you're exposed to the sun, it burns you.
Do not understand the theory of spraying aerosols, which we know depletes the ozone layer. Why would you then spray as much aerosols as you possibly could, as close to the ozone as you could? I don't get it.
I don't either.
Madison, here's the $64,000 question. Okay, there's 38 million people in California, and they're spraying the shit out of us. So why did the 20 million in Southern California not know what's going on? Why are they not going, hello, our skies are just being bombarded? Do these people not look up? Do they not know what the sky looks like? Have they forgotten what the sky looks like?
Right, and also Hollywood's in, California. They're getting sprayed, and that, not everyone in Hollywood is a sheep. There's no way, they are awake, they know what's going on, so why aren't they doing something?
Yeah.
Well, like Mark Ruffalo, if that's his last name, the guy that's involved in fracking, the actor, he's heavily involved in the anti-fracking movement of New York. And, kudos to that guy to actually fight that industry, because the fracking industry is as bad as the chemtrail industry. Only they're getting away with it on the ground and in front of people's faces, and people have no idea. People are so clueless to fracking. Okay, I'll give you guys an example about fracking, just to go off chemtrails for a minute. There was an article in the LA Times that said there were 217 complaints to the EPA about a fracking site next to USC. Okay? When the EPA finally decided to get off their asses and show up there, these guys got sick. It was so contaminated, and they ended up in the hospital.
Wow.
So I talked to a friend of mine who was a professor at USC, and she'd never even heard anything about it. I go, Are you kidding me? You teach at this school and you don't know that they have a fracking site right next door that it caused the EPA officials to go to the hospital? I mean, it's unbelievable.
There's no way to bust these people. I mean, there is a way. We just haven't come up with it yet. But the FAA, the EPA, they are just cover-up federal agents for the bad guys. I want to know who they work for. Like, who do the feds answer to? Is it Congress and stuff? I mean, how does it break down? I mean, who does the president answer to?
Well, do you actually think Congress or the Senate does anything? They're almost like a bunch of robotic puppets that absolutely get nothing done.
There's no checks and balances.
Well, you know what, Madison? I've actually posted this on Facebook. You could hire a bunch of college grads and send them in there and replace every one of those clowns, and they could do a better job.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You could probably hire fifth graders, and they would do a better job, and they would lose all their sponsor logos from their shirts, but the job would be done better. And I'm sorry that it's come to this, but it's really pathetically sad. This chemtrail thing is so out of control. Okay, so they have to have huge facilities with massive amounts of planes. They need railroad tracks bringing the chemicals in. And, like the Mojave Desert's perfect. Have you ever seen the fleet of planes out in the Mojave Desert?
Yeah,
there's a couple hundred planes sitting there. And I don't know if they're mothballed or if they're just sitting there for taking off for chemtrail use, but they have train tracks that run right up next to the base, and it would be very convenient for them.
If you had any suggestions on who we would report this to or how we would get some answers for this.
Well, like I said, I think I know who a chem pilot is, and he's not willing to talk. But these people have to be living with us. I mean,
right.
There have as more and more people become aware. I think awareness is the key to it. I almost wanted to go door to door with flyers and just say, "Hey, do you know what they're spraying above you?" Because people are so stupid and caught up in their lives and worrying about buying a new iPhone or paying their bills that they don't bother.
Oh, hey, this is Bill Connor.
Hi, Bill. How are you? Great. I'm glad you're here. He was just telling us that he knows a chemtrail pilot, but he doesn't think that he would come forward. What if you were to what if we were to make a link, where one of us gives a plea or something, a recorded plea, and then you could send him the link? Is he on Facebook?
No, he is not on Facebook, but his brother is. And I thought that was kind of.
Is there a way to get him a plea from one of us to, come through anonymously? We would totally protect him. It wouldn't be me.
How do you know he's a chemtrail pilot?
Well, I'm pretty sure because he was taught to fly planes in the U.S. military, and when he filled out his application at American Delta and United, he put on the application that he liked to drink beers and he'd done drugs, and so he didn't get a job. But he's got 2 houses and an airplane, so he's doing pretty well, and I don't think he's running drugs.
Who does he fly for?
He says he's a FedEx pilot. But what does FedEx pay? They can't pay more than $100,000 a year. Pilots actually don't make a lot of money, especially somebody like FedEx. All you are is the delivery guy in the sky. You're not carrying passengers, so they pay you a little bit less. I'm surprised at how little they pay airline pilots. I mean, if I was a pilot, I would probably go to work for somebody other than one of the 3 major carriers because they pay so little.
So you really have no knowledge of him being a chemtrail pilot. It's just a suspicion of yours, right?
Well, the last correspondence I had with him was, "Are you a chemtrail pilot or not?" And he wouldn't answer it. So I called it on him because he tried to debunk me about chemtrails, and I said, you can't debunk somebody who has seen this happening. If you are aware and you followed what's going on and look at the sky. See, my brother's a pilot for a commercial airline. My dad was a pilot, and both my grandfathers were pilots. So I grew up in a military family. My dad was a test pilot and flew all sorts of planes. And I had hundreds of pictures of planes when I was a kid, the different planes, and believe me, I never
What
saw
do all
planes.
your family say about this, about the chemtrails?
Well, I'll tell you that there's one person that's alive in my family, and he didn't believe it until I proved it to him via Facebook and YouTube, and now he is a true believer. My dad is long gone, and both my grandfathers are too.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But I never saw it. Okay, so there's a couple things that when I meet people that really adamantly will not believe the geoengineering is going on, there's a couple of videos that I'll fall back on to show them that it's truly happening. You know, the one where it's on enemy tanker, and Dane shows it when they're turning the nozzles on and off of the one jet.
Right.
And then the other one is the FedEx one, where you have 3 chemtrail tankers and 2 of them almost hit the FedEx jet. Hey, Madison, you know what? Fuel is so bloody expensive. They're not going to be dumping massive amounts of fuel just for the hell of it. What does it take? If it's really expensive to actually fly those planes, I think it takes 52,000 gallons to get to Hawaii from L.A.
That scientist told me that they suspend the particles in the air for up to a year.
Wow.
He said that they can do that with the towers and with the stuff. That they
I believe that. That's why the sky is never blue anymore.
Right, exactly. And why we're always overcast all the time. Like, I'm lucky to see chemtrails nowadays because we're overcast most of the time. I can't even see a sky.
It's a silvery, whitish gray.
And I mean, how much of this can we really breathe in?
I've had it for the last 3 days, and it started. But I knew people that were sick also. But it seems like they've been spraying in Southern California for, I don't know. Well, actually, I know. Christmas Day, I have to tell you guys, this was a mind blower because I actually posted on Facebook that I was in San Diego. I've never seen them spray over La Jolla, Coronado, and Point Loma, which are all the ritzy areas of San Diego. And my mom has a house in Point Loma. We walked out Christmas morning, and this tanker flies over and leaves this chemtrail straight over my mom's house. And my mom goes, she's 75 years old, and she goes, I know what a chemtrail is now. Because she thought I was kind of going nuts about it. Because I am going nuts about it because they spray us every day. But I think it's just awareness, and it's literally getting people to look up. And I will walk up to anybody and tell them, if I'm walking on the street, riding my bike, I will. Anybody who looks like they have a thought in their head, I will say, take a look at this, see what the government is doing. They're spraying your air, and make people aware. The pesticides that kill the bees, I was going to combine the two because I have bees and butterflies in my yard, and I have neighbors that spray this stuff, these insecticides, and it kills everything on either side, not just their house, but the house on either side.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of which, I want to mention. Hold on, I want to mention building number 7 about that video that was sent to me. It was really good. How the building just turned to dust. Who was it that sent me that video? Was it you, Richard?
Yeah, I sent it to you. Okay, so on 9/11, 5 hours after the Twin Towers went down, World Trade Center number 7 fell down in its footprint. And most people don't know a lot about 9/11, and the story is very, very complex. And I followed it for, ever since it's happened. And a lot of it didn't make sense to me because, first of all, at the Pentagon, nothing made sense to me. You've got a 757 that hit the Pentagon. A 757 is 45 feet in diameter. Its tail section is 4 stories high. Its wings are 124 feet wide. It's got 2 engines that leave a vortex behind them that it turns into a mini hurricane.
I would have burnt the grass.
The grass? The grass was definitely a smoking gun. If those engines had come in at 500 miles an hour, they would have left gouges in the grass right into the building.
The grass was untouched, and there was there was just a round hole in the building. But there's a Major General Stubblebine, who's come out and made reports. He was in charge of U.S. Army intelligence around the world. It was his job to study intelligence photos, and his wife suggested to him that 9/11 was an inside job, and he couldn't believe it. And she kept insisting, and so he used all of his powers of intelligence to investigate 9/11. And if you look for him on YouTube, Major General, just punch in Major General 9/11, and you'll see his clips. And he's a former U.S. Army Major General who comes right out and says, by the end of the clip, I've investigated it. It was my job to investigate these type of things all my life, and this was an inside job. On the morning of 9/11, Stubblebine says that Vice President Cheney was in Arizona, and he had the National Air Defense System for the northeast quadrant of the country turned off.
Wasn't that convenient? They had actually 3 different military drills going that day, and one of them was a drill simulating planes flying into buildings, coincidentally. If you guys want to hear a real interesting story, listen to Barry Jennings. I think he's dead now. He talks about going into World Trade Center number 7, and it's on YouTube. And then, you know what? Watch 1,500 architects and engineers for 9/11 truth, because all it talks about is World Trade Center number 7, because that doesn't make sense on what happened that day.